And we actually used real gang members in the video. We had the V13s down here on this corner and the Crips on this corner.
Michael Jackson. He got all these gangbangers behind him and they don't with him.
Relationship with Bill after that?
Bill. Michael Jackson, also known as the King of Pop, left an incredible and lasting mark on music, dance, and popular culture. His influence went far beyond just the music industry. He became a global icon celebrated for his unique fashion sense, legendary dance moves like the moonwalk, and his unmatched showmanship. His music videos, especially Thriller, revolutionized the medium, setting new standards that many artists still strive to reach today. His live performances were nothing short of spectacular, captivating audiences around the world. However, there's a lesser-known aspect of Michael's life that might surprise many fans: his alleged connections to gang culture. It might sound shocking to hear Michael Jackson's name linked with gangs, but there are some intriguing hints throughout his career suggesting ties to the notorious American street gang, the Crips. Let's dive in. Michael Joseph Jackson was born on August 29, 1958 in Gary, Indiana, a city located just 25 miles from downtown Chicago. Gary's story is a fascinating one. The city was founded by U.S. Steel in 1906, and as they built their massive Gary Works factory there, it attracted people from all over, drawn by the promise of jobs at this state-of-the-art facility. Among those who flocked to Gary were European immigrants and Black Americans escaping the oppressive Jim Crow laws of the South. By 1950, Gary had become one of the most segregated cities in the country. Black residents were confined to the Midtown section and were forbidden from crossing the Broadway Bridge into the South Side except for work purposes. At its peak, Gary was a bustling, diverse, and prosperous city, even earning the nickname City of the Century. But then things took a drastic turn for the worse. The onset of white flight, where white residents moved out of the city en masse, coupled with growing overseas competition in the steel industry, led to massive layoffs and factory closures. These events marked the beginning of Gary's decline. The city was left in ruins, becoming impoverished with dilapidated buildings and a significant increase in gang activity and crime rates. By the early 1990s, Gary had one of the highest percentages of Black Americans in the United States at around 81%. In 1993, the city gained a grim reputation, earning the title of the capital of the United States. The murder rate in Gary at that time was a staggering 91 per 100,000 residents, which was 3 times higher than Chicago's rate.
In the streets, houses, fields of Gary, Indiana, on the way to reclaiming its title as the murder capital of the United States.
So we like whatever.
You're on the map for now.
So whatever.
Gary had more per capita, 109 among its 119,000 residents, than any other U.S. city.
It's gonna take to stop the baby from dying.
Michael Jackson was born to Joe Jackson, who hailed from Arkansas, and Catherine Jackson, originally from Alabama. Michael was the 8th of 10 kids in the Jackson family, which meant their small 2-bedroom house at 2300 Jackson Street was always bustling. Imagine squeezing 11 people into a home with just 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom, all in 622 square feet of living space. It's no wonder Michael once remarked, quote, "You can take 5 steps from the front door and you'll be at the back." That's how cramped it was. By the time Michael turned 7, which was in the mid-60s, his neighborhood started going downhill fast. Gangs and drugs began to take over the community, and it was a scary time for everyone living there. Michael's parents, especially Joe, became increasingly worried about the growing influence of gangs. In response, Joe Jackson's already strict discipline became even tougher. The rise in gang violence was no joke. The Jackson kids were only allowed to play with each other and were never permitted to having sleepovers with friends. As the gang situation worsened, the Jackson children found themselves confined indoors more often. They were even kept home from school on the last day of the year because that's when kids would settle scores, and it could get pretty dangerous. Michael's 2 older brothers had to walk through the Delaney projects to get to school every day. This area was a hotspot for gang activity. At first, the gang members were cool with the brothers because they were part of the Jackson 5. But things got more intense when gangs started moving closer to the Jackson family's block. The Jacksons began witnessing more and more conflicts between rival gangs. What started as fistfights soon escalated into shootouts. There were times when Michael and his family had to hit the deck and duck for cover to dodge bullets. Joe Jackson was determined to get his family out of the gang-infested streets of Gary, Indiana. In August 1969, Motown Records stepped in and moved Michael and the rest of the Jackson 5 to Los Angeles, where they bounced around various hotels. This move marked the beginning of a new chapter for the Jackson family, far away from the violence that plagued their hometown. By the late 70s, Michael started yearning for a solo career. With the help of legendary music producer Quincy Jones, Michael produced his first solo album, Off the Wall. The album was a massive success, eventually selling over 20 million copies worldwide. But that was just the beginning. His second solo album, Thriller, catapulted Michael Jackson to unprecedented fame. Without much commercial advertising or promotion, Thriller skyrocketed to the #1 spot on the album charts and held on to that position for an astounding 37 weeks. It went on to achieve 100 million sales globally, with 29 million of those sales in the US alone. The success of Thriller was bolstered by hit singles like The Girl Is Mine and Billie Jean. But it was the release of Beat It on February 14th, 1983 that truly cemented Michael's status as an international pop icon. The inspiration for Beat It and its music video came from Michael's first-hand experience with gang activity back in Gary. The video, which cost Michael $150,000 to produce after the network refused to finance it, was filmed in the gritty Skid Row area of Los Angeles, mainly on East 5th Street. To make the video as authentic as possible and to promote a message of peace, Michael had the innovative idea to cast real-life gang members. He brought in rival members of the Crips and Bloods along with 80 genuine gang members, including those from the Barrio Nuevo Estrada gang. Michael connected with these gang members through the LAPD's Gang Squad. This was when he first established a connection with the East Coast Crips. The East Coast Crips are the largest Black American gang on the east side of South Central Los Angeles, consisting of many sets. For the Beat It video, Michael specifically enlisted members of the 716 East Coast Crips, who were the only Crips involved in the shoot. Michael went all out to get them there, even sending a bus to pick them up from Florence and Hooper and bring them to downtown LA for the video shoot. At first, there were a few skirmishes between the 716 East Coast Crips and the rival Bloods on set, but Michael managed to bring everyone together. By the end, they were able to coexist peacefully, which was no small feat. The gang members were paid, fed, and got to hang out around Michael's trailer between takes. Michael even gave them autographed pictures and tickets to the upcoming Victory Tour. Now fast forward to 1987, after winning countless accolades and reaching superstar status, Michael released his highly anticipated album Bad in November of that year. One of the standout tracks, The Way You Make Me Feel, became the third single from the album, and the video for it was also filmed in Skid Row, Los Angeles. For this production, Michael reached out to the 890 East Coast Crips and personally selected members to be in the music video. In one iconic picture from the shoot, Boxer from 890 East Coast is seen alongside Michael, with both of them throwing up the East Coast Crip sign. Michael didn't stop there. He also included Latino gang members in the video.
And we actually used real gang members in the video.
Michael went a step further for this shoot by inviting various gangs to decorate the set with graffiti. Among them were Fide's Broadway Gangster Crips, the 107 Hoovers, Zenith's 13, 18th Street, and the East Coast Crips. Michael was clearly in his element during the shoot, comfortable and genuinely happy to give the Crips a moment in the spotlight. This collaboration didn't go unnoticed on the streets. Rumors started spreading that the Crips were backing Michael and had his back. Even Eazy-E from NWA commented on their alleged affiliation, adding to the buzz.
Michael Jackson, he got all these gangbangers behind him and they don't with him.
That same year, Michael recorded the unforgettable track I'm So Blue and followed it up with Blue Gangster. In the summer of 2003, Michael made a momentous return to Gary, Indiana, the first time he'd been back in over 20 years. The excitement around his visit was off the charts. In true Michael fashion, he brought out an entire Kentucky Fried Chicken and handed out pieces of chicken to his fans who had gathered in the parking lot. The scene was wild, with people cheering and celebrating. Allegedly, members of the Vice Lords and Gangster Disciples were present, and some were so overwhelmed by Michael's return that they were crying and fainting. Now, despite his well-known affiliation with the Crips, Michael also had connections with other influential figures, including drug lords. One of the most famous examples of Michael's interaction with powerful figures was during the filming of his iconic music video for They Don't Care About Us, which was shot in a Rio de Janeiro slum. At that time, the area was under the control of Marcio Amaro de Oliveira, better known as Marcinho VP, a notorious drug lord. The Brazilian police refused to enter the slum, so to ensure Michael's safety, his team had to negotiate with Marcinho VP. Katia Lund, a Brazilian-born Brown University graduate working for Spike Lee, was sent to speak with Marcinho and secure protection for Michael. Despite his reputation as a dangerous criminal, Marcinho VP turned out to be a huge Michael Jackson fan. He sent a message back to Michael's team saying that if they decided to shoot the video in the Santa Marta favela, they could lay $1 million on the street along with their film equipment and no one would touch it. Marcinho assured them that with Michael Jackson in town, it would be the safest place on earth. Also, Michael Gangster transformed this gangster energy to the industry. He controlled the music scene in a way that was way more thuggish than anyone would have expected. Michael was getting money from every single artist from Beyonce and Jay-Z to Eminem and even the Beatles. You see, he owned Sony's publishing rights, which meant that every time any artist under Sony released a song, Michael got a check.
Gangster. I own Sony's publishing. Every time Beyonce and Jay-Z make a song, Michael was getting a check. I bought the Beatles.
To understand just how powerful he was, let's look at what he did to Eminem. As we all know, Eminem is known for his razor-sharp tongue and doesn't shy away from roasting anyone and everyone. Most people don't dare to cross him because of his notorious disses. But Michael Jackson wasn't just anyone. It all started in 2004 when Eminem released the song Just Lose It, which took aim at every part of Michael's career, including his plastic surgeries. The music video went even further, mocking Michael by lighting his hair on fire and cutting off his nose.
Touched on everything but little boys. That's not a stab at Michael, that's just a metaphor. I'm just psycho.
Michael was deeply hurt by this. He respected Eminem as an artist, so the song caused him a lot of pain.
I've never met Mr. Eminem, and was pretty painful as an artist to another artist. And it's sad. He should be ashamed of himself, what he's doing.
Michael tried to sue Eminem and get the song banned, but those efforts didn't get very far. Instead of giving up, Michael decided to flex his industry muscle. He took the beef to the next level in a way only he could. Instead of continuing with legal action, Michael bought Eminem's entire music catalog for $300 million. This move was a game changer. By purchasing the rights to Eminem's music, Michael essentially owned him, silencing Eminem for good. It was a power move that showed just how influential Michael was. Michael's influence wasn't just limited to Eminem. Owning a piece of several artists' work made him incredibly powerful. This level of control and influence led to speculation about why Michael might have been targeted. Once he died, all the royalties and rights went back to Sony and some of the artists. According to Michael's sister LaToya, MJ felt he was in danger and believed some people wanted him dead because of that catalog.
He explained it to me. He explained it's because of my catalog, which is my publishing, and they're after it, and they want it, and they want their hands on it, and they want to take it away from me.
Let's take a deep dive into the events of June 25th, 2009, a day that sent shockwaves through the music world and left millions of fans devastated. Michael Jackson, the most decorated musician in history, was found lifeless in his LA home at just 50 years old. This wasn't just any day for Michael. He was in the midst of prepping for his huge comeback with the This Is It tour. London was all set to witness the King of Pop's return, but tragically that never happened. The news of Michael's passing spread like wildfire, and suddenly it felt like the entire world stopped spinning. Here's how it all went down. Michael's personal physician, Dr. Conrad Murray, found him unconscious after administering some meds to help him sleep. In a panic, Murray started CPR and called for emergency services. When the paramedics arrived, they worked tirelessly to revive Michael for a grueling 42 minutes at his home. Despite their relentless efforts, it became clear that things were dire as they rushed him to the hospital at 1:14 p.m. Medical professionals at the Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center fought valiantly to bring him back. But after over an hour of attempts, Michael Jackson was pronounced dead at 2:26 p.m. Michael's death was ruled a homicide caused by a lethal mix of drugs, including propofol and lorazepam. The cocktail also included diazepam, midazolam, ephedrine, and lidocaine. Dr. Conrad Murray found himself in hot water and went to court on September 27, 2011. After just 24 days, he was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter. His sentence came 5 days later, and he was held in jail without the possibility of bail before the trial. The jury had to consider many factors before deciding on Dr. Murray's guilt. Murray claimed he was innocent, insisting he tried to save Michael by performing CPR.
Your Honor, I am an innocent man. I therefore plead not guilty.
However, other medical experts testified that he did it wrong. CPR should be done on a hard surface, not on a bed. Plus, Dr. Murray used only one hand for CPR, whereas standard practice for adults is to use both hands. This was a basic mistake, one a doctor should definitely know. It's acceptable to use one hand for CPR on children, but not on adults like Michael. Another thing that made people angry was that Dr. Murray did not call 911 when Jackson was in trouble. He said he didn't call because there was no phone in the house and he didn't know the address. But later they found out he made many calls on his phone during that time. He didn't tell anyone about these calls before. In November of 2011, Dr. Conrad Murray was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter. Many people were still outraged, feeling that Dr. Murray's punishment was not enough. This sparked a flurry of conspiracy theories about what really happened to Michael Jackson. Some speculated that powerful individuals wanted him out of the picture and that Dr. Murray was just a pawn in a larger scheme. The fact that Michael's death resulted in a financial windfall for many added fuel to these theories. There were even whispers that MJ's will was faked to ensure certain people got their hands on his vast estate. Shifting gears, let's not forget all the amazing stuff MJ pulled off in his lifetime. Often hailed as the king of pop, Jackson's impact on global culture during the 20th century was immense. Across his impressive 4-decade career, his innovations in music, dance, and fashion, coupled with his widely publicized personal life, solidified his status as a towering figure in popular culture. Jackson's influence transcended musical genres, inspiring artists worldwide. As the 8th child of the legendary Jackson family, he burst onto the scene in 1964 alongside his older brothers Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, and Marlon as a member of the Jackson 5, later known as the Jacksons. Embarking on a solo journey in 1971 under Motown Records, Jackson soared to solo stardom with his groundbreaking 1979 album Off the Wall. However, it was his 1982 masterpiece Thriller that catapulted him to unprecedented heights of fame. The album's accompanying music videos, particularly for hits like Beat It, Billie Jean, and the iconic Thriller, not only broke racial barriers but also redefined the art of music video production. Jackson's innovative choreography, including the legendary moonwalk and the robotic dance moves, became synonymous with his name. Beyond music, Jackson's impact extended to the realm of television, with his videos playing a pivotal role in the rise of MTV as a cultural phenomenon. He continued to push boundaries with his subsequent albums such as Bad, 1987, Dangerous, 1991, His Story, Past, Present, and Future, Book 1, 1995, and Invincible, 2001. Thriller remains the best-selling album of all time, while Bad achieved the feat of producing 5 US Billboard Hot 100 #1 singles, a testament to Jackson's unparalleled talent and lasting influence on the music industry. He's known as one of the best-selling music artists of all time, with estimates of his sales ranging from 400 million to 1 billion. He holds the record for the most #1 singles by a male artist in the Hot 100 era, with an impressive 13 chart toppers in the US during his solo career. His impact went beyond music. He was recognized by 3 different US presidents. Ronald Reagan awarded him a Presidential Public Safety Commendation in 1984 for his humanitarian efforts, while George H.W. Bush named him Artist of the Decade in 1990. Additionally, Bush honored him as a Point of Light ambassador in 1992 for his work with disadvantaged children at his Neverland Ranch. Michael's trophy was overflowing with awards, making him one of the most decorated artists in music history. He holds an astounding 39 Guinness World Records, including the title of Most Successful Entertainer of All Time. He's won 13 Grammy Awards, including the prestigious Grammy Legend Award and Lifetime Achievement Award, along with 26 American Music Awards. His influence extends to various halls of fame, from the Hollywood Walk of Fame, inducted twice as a member of the Jacksons and a solo artist, to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Vocal Group Hall of Fame, and the Songwriters Hall of Fame. He was even the first recording artist to be honored in the Dance Hall of Fame in 2010 and was posthumously inducted into the Rhythm and Blues Music Hall of Fame in 2014. In 2021, he was recognized as one of the inaugural inductees into the Black Music and Entertainment Walk of Fame, cementing his legacy as an icon in the world of music and entertainment. In 1988, Fisk University bestowed upon him an honorary doctorate of humane letters, recognizing his contributions to humanity. 4 years later, in 1992, he was granted the title of a titular king of Sanwi, a traditional kingdom located in the southeastern region of Ivory Coast, showcasing his global impact and admiration. Michael's influence even reached beyond Earth's borders. In July 2009, the Lunar Republic Society named a crater on the moon after him, commemorating his legendary status. Back on Earth in August of the same year, Google celebrated what would have been Jackson's 51st birthday by dedicating their Google Doodle to him, highlighting his enduring legacy. The world of science also paid homage to Jackson. In 2012, an extinct hermit crab species was christened Mesoparaplycalus michaeljacksoni in his honor, underscoring his reach into various realms of human endeavor. Recognizing his impact on global culture, the British Council of Cultural Relations in 2014 identified Jackson's life as one of the 80 most significant cultural moments of the 20th century, solidifying his status as a cultural icon transcending borders and generations. Furthermore, World Vitiligo Day, observed annually on June 25th, coinciding with the anniversary of Jackson's passing, serves as a platform to raise awareness about the autoimmune disorder that Jackson publicly battled.